Back to the Future Part 2. Welcome to WoW Recapped. Today we'll show you a 1989 American science fiction film titled Back to the Future 2. After a wacky trip to 1955, Marty McFly returns to his own time, only to find himself going with his friend Doc Brown to the year 2015 to straighten out a family problem. However, when they return to 1985, they quickly discover that Biff has turned Hill Valley into a hellhole. Their only chance to restore their original time is to return to 1955 to set things right. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. It's October 26, 1985. Marty is ready to take his girlfriend, Jennifer, for a ride in his Toyota truck. Doc unexpectedly meets Marty and his Jennifer in a DeLorean time machine. He asks them to travel with him back to the future as their kids are in big trouble. Unfortunately, Biff Tannen witnesses them taking off in the flying time machine. While traveling to the future, Jennifer is so confused and asks many questions. So Doc uses a sleep-inducing alpha rhythm generator, which puts her to sleep. Doc doesn't want her to know about the time machine as it can create many problems. They travel in the future to October 21st, 2015. Doc and Marty land the time machine in the alleyway near the Hill Valley Courthouse. They lay Jennifer on a nearby loading dock. Doc asks Marty to dress up like his son Marty Jr. and shows him the newspaper from the future in which his son Marty Jr. will be imprisoned as he'll do something illegal. Doc asks Marty to take his son's place and refuses to go along with Griff's scheme. Marty looks around himself and sees a lot of changes that have happened in the future. He stops and looks in the window of an antique store with several vintage items, including a sports almanac. He then arrives at the Cafe 80s and is shocked to see the old Biff, who calls Marty Jr. a loser. Suddenly, Griff arrives at the cafe and drags his grandfather out of the cafe. Things get worse when Marty Jr. shows up. So Marty has to hide behind the counter and is shocked to see his son being a coward. Griff punches Marty Jr. when he refuses his offer and falls unconscious behind the counter. So Marty switches places with his son and refuses Griff's order. Marty's about to attack him, but he takes out his baseball bat. Marty runs outside and Griff's gang follows him. At the last minute, Marty manages to cause the bully and his gang to fly right into the courthouse's windows. Marty meets an old man who asks him to help him save the clock tower. Suddenly, a news graphic pops up which shows the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series. When that old man comments that he should have put money on the Cubs, Marty gets an idea. Before going to Doc, Marty purchases an almanac from the same antique shop, which contains the results of major sporting events from 1950 to the year 2000. But Doc finds the almanac and warns him not to take advantage of time travel. Doc disposes of that almanac in the trash can, but unfortunately, they see local police finding Jennifer. They take her fingerprints and decide to take her to her 2015 home. Doc and Marty follow their flying cab. Meanwhile, the old Biff was listening to their conversation and retrieved the discarded almanac. Jennifer wakes up in her 2015 home and hides in a closet from the future McFly family. She sees Marty not being able to become a famous rock star because of an automobile accident. She also sees Marty being provoked by his coworker into a shady business deal which results in his firing. Doc finally finds Jennifer and tells her to head out from the front door. While she's escaping, she sees her old self, which results in the fainting of both. While Marty and Doc were busy with Jennifer, old Biff travels in the time machine to 1955 and gives himself that almanac and comes back to 2015. Marty, Doc, and unconscious Jennifer travel to the present in 1985. Doc tells Marty that he'll destroy the time machine once they return to 1985 as he doesn't want any further damage. It's October 26, 1985. Doc and Marty leave Jennifer on her front porch. They're shocked to see the dramatic changes in 1985. Marty arrives at his residence but is shocked to see a lock on the front gate. He sneaks into his room through the rear window but is shocked to see some other family in his house. Marty runs down the street. He hears the cocking of a gun and turns to find Mr. Strickland, who tells him that schools were burned down 6 years ago, but they're interrupted by a drive-by shooting. He runs to Hill Valley Courthouse, which has been turned into Biff's pleasure paradise and casino. He's shocked to know that Biff is one of the town's richest and most corrupt people. Marty then discovers that Biff killed his father George in 1973 and forcefully married his mother Lorraine. Marty freaks out but is subdued by Biff's gang. Marty then wakes up on the 27th floor of Pleasure Paradise and sees his mom there. Marty's mom explains to him how she's being forced to live with Biff as he financially supports the whole family. Marty then leaves for his father's graveyard and finds Doc over there. Doc reveals the whole situation and tells Marty about the top of elderly Biff's cane in his time machine. They have to go back to the past to repair the damage, but both of them don't know how and when the young Biff got the almanac. Marty confronts Biff, who tells him how on November 12, 1955, he got that almanac from an old man. Biff tries to kill Marty, but he escapes with Doc in the past to 1955. There's a problem in the time machine, due to which time circuits begin flashing on January 1st, 1885. But Doc solves that problem temporarily. Doc gives some money, binoculars, and a walkie-talkie to Marty. Doc tells Marty that Biff from 2015 has to take the time machine to 2015, otherwise they won't be able to return from 2015 to 1985. He also warns Marty that he shouldn't run into his other self, since Marty's other self will be at Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Marty secretly follows 1955 Biff and watches him receiving an almanac from 2015 Biff. Young Biff thinks this is just a joke, but is shocked when the almanac predicts the final score of the football game. Young Biff then asks the old Biff to leave the garage, locking Marty inside. Marty asks Doc to help him to get out, but Doc tells him to wait for the night as he can't take the time machine in the daylight. Marty escapes by himself when young Biff opens the garage door. Marty then follows him to the high school dance and avoids interrupting the events from the previous visit. Biff sends his gang to look for Calvin Klein and starts looking at the girly magazine. Marty's about to get the almanac back, but unfortunately, Strickland shows up and confiscates it. Marty rushes for the magazine, but is panicked to see the girly magazine with the almanac cover on it. Marty rushes out and gets the almanac from Biff, but his gang finds him. Doc tries to get the time machine over to the school, but it hits the billboard, which causes time circuits to malfunction temporarily. Marty somehow manages to escape from Biff's gang, but Biff encounters him. During their fight, it's revealed that Marty has the almanac. It causes Biff to kick him hard, rushing to his car and driving off. Marty tells Doc about everything and rushes toward the River Road Tunnel. Marty uses the hoverboard given to him by a girl in 2015 to run behind Biff. Biff tries to crush Marty, but he somehow avoids this and tries to grab the book. After many failures, Marty finally succeeds in getting the almanac and escapes with the help of strings falling from the sky. It's Doc who is sitting in the time machine. Distracted Biff's car crashes into a manure truck once again. Doc tells Marty over the walkie-talkie to burn the almanac using the book of matches from Biff's casino. As Marty burns the almanac, he sees the words of Pleasure Paradise on the matchbook changing to auto detailing. He then pulls out the newspaper where his father's death news is changed to him being honored. Now the future is fixed. Doc prepares to retrieve Marty. But unfortunately, before Marty can sit in the time machine, lightning strikes the time machine. Now only Marty is left in the past, 1955, as Doc was already in the time machine. It starts raining, and a car pulls up behind Marty, and a man gets out, asking if he's talking to Marty McFly. When Marty affirms, he hands him a Western Union courier and delivers him a letter. That letter was given to the local office 70 years ago. The letter was from Doc to Marty from 1885 and told him that only one person could help him. Marty runs to find Doc from 1955 to help him return to 1985. Marty arrives minutes before his past self goes back to the future. Seeing him, Doc from 1955 faints. The end. That's all for this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. We'll surely come back with another interesting movie.